and welcome back to day 8 of our small alley after rain build, which then says rainbow lane on the title. So yesterday, after I'd edited and I was looking back on the video to make sure it was okay, I realised that a whole section had been missed off, so for that I apologise. But I will explain the bits that I missed in what I did on today. Wasn't major, fortunately. So today we are using all our little baskets that we made, including the little flat one. So the small one that we had that string for, just made a small flat one, nothing major with that. This one had handles on. This one has the 2 handles on, kind of cute. This one ended up with some gold and blue beads on the inside of it, so that was kind of nice. And this one was a little bit of fabric, which is probably, I mean, I did the size they said, but it's probably a bit too much fabric. I guess it's meant to look like a picnic basket type thing. Not that I'm sure mine does, but hey. And then this one was a little hat. So how I made this one was I made the flat disc like we'd been doing, and then I made a what you're meant to do is take your string and then take it to the middle kind of and wrap it around to make it a small top. What I actually did was made the small disc, made a smaller version of this, pop this one on top of it, found that a lot easier, and then what you do is you take some of that very thin brown one that was over and you just wrap it around and just tie it at the end, and that makes your little hat. All of these we're going to be using today, so my instructions a bit closer. So we use some B7000 to get started. So first of all, we are going to use this piece, which is called a mattress. So I was going to say use the better side. I mean, some of it shows the glue and things, so, but that one goes over here. Okay, so I'll get the base stuff down first, and then we build up from there. So this goes on here, like so. And then we have a bead next to it here and here. So it's going to be this bead. Oops, come back. Oh, you know what? It'd be easier to do this. Just make sure you're zoomed in, because yesterday I realised I hadn't zoomed you in. So you have the big one at the back. Put the trees inside it then. Like so. Followed by 2 of these discs. Upside down, I think. It looks very different. There's, even though it's square, when you look at the inventory on the photograph, it does look like a round bead, by the way. It took me a little while to work out what they were talking about. And then on this side, we have one of the baskets with the fabric. Just trying to see if there's anything else. I think that's all that's going in here. So you're going to have the one with the fabric going on here. Pretty sure that's the one they're talking about. And then you have the hat behind it. But you're not going to ever see the hat then, because I think, hold on, let me just see how it's going on there, where it's going to go. Yeah, you're never going to see the hat if you did what they suggest. So they have the hat on this side, but this is actually going to be against a window unit, so I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to pop that there. And therefore the hat would be at the back, and the hat was some work, wasn't it? It's nice work, and you kind of have the hat just hanging off the edge. Actually, you know, I'm not going to put that on yet because that's going to mean that we don't have a flat surface. So let's see. Oh, another one on top. So you have another flat one on top of this one. So let's build this one up first, I think. Like so. Just on top. I don't know why those look round on the photograph. Mine do not. So just the silver one on top of the other silver one, followed by a 2 white, 2 silver discs on top of that. And I think the discs are, one's facing one way and one's facing the other. That's what I think. So you have one upside down, like so. Like I say, it kind of looks a bit different in the photo. And then one on top of that. I thought I had a red bead to have, maybe it's not for this part. And it is for this part. Like so. Like I say, it doesn't overly look like the photograph, but then we put this one on top of our, what they call a mattress, which goes on here. I'm just making sure, double checking. So that one's got the bigger handle, so I'm going to put that so it looks like to the front, because of course I couldn't do it quite evenly. That would be asking a lot for me. So I'm doing something like so. And then on top of that we'll put this other basket, so that's just going to sit on top there, which probably not going to be the easiest thing to do either. For that you probably don't need to use the D7000 in reality. You just want it tilting towards it, so it's like stacking up, and then you're left with this one with the beads, a hat we're going to put on in a minute. These, what are these? Oh, they're going inside this basket. Okay. Get the glue out. More tweezers then. Kind of just goes inside. Would have probably been done a bit easier if I'd done that first. Okay. I'll take this off a second. Push those down, and then put that on top of that. Not 100% sure what it's resembling, that is resembling. Actually, I think I'm going to put it up that way. Or not. Doesn't want to come off the tweezers. Something like so is all me. Something like so. And then put that back on the shelf. Like so. And then I'm going to put that hat on. Okay. And then, like I say, they have the hat going towards the back, but I don't see why I would do that. So this is how we're going to end up looking, something like that. And I'm just going to pop that to one side on each side so that hat doesn't get knocked, and we'll be left with one. That's what I can gather. Right, the next section, I'm missing a piece, so I'm not 100% sure. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to part to it, and I'm going to hold off on finishing off. So I'm not sure where this goes, so I'm going to keep that to one side. I did think it looked like it was used, but I'm not seeing that it's used in this particular section. So, right, next we are going to do these. This does not look right. This is not the right pot. Back. Oh, I see the pot. Not this one. Oh, that's next. Okay, so I'm going to use this one here. There's quite a lot in here, but we're not going to be, they're all for different things. So the part I'm missing is another one of this. So I don't know if it's fallen on the floor and the puppy, she likes wood, said yes and was all excited and everything, or it will show up. So I'm just going to do one of these. But what you will do, and if I find it, I'll just get it done. But you have two of these posters, one there and one here, and you put one on each with the writing like so. So it looks like this. And then you have two of these identical, and you will join them up to make an A-frame signpost. So I'm just going to hold off on that in the hope that the other one turns up. We don't need it straight away. It's not fully down. Don't need it straight away, but if I do find it, then I will put the other side together and we'll make the A-frame. If not, I'm sure I can lean the signpost up against something where it's meant to go. Right, next we are going to, let's move all this out of the way, I'm going to make a bench, which looks quite straightforward, doesn't it, really? Like so. And shall we use wood glue? Thinking, do we want to use wood glue? I guess we'll use B7000 for speed. So I'm just going to put some on the bottom. Like so. And put some on the other side. Bench for a model like this, isn't it? In comparison to the other little bits we've done, I'm hoping not today won't be all little bits. Something like so, and then just put your top on over here. Is a glass. I don't know if that comes from this side of the pot if it started to tip out or I tipped out first. Either way, let's not lose those plastic pieces. Put those over there. And that's where that will go. Then I'll put in this bead on the seat. You can make the flower, this is a plant, you can make it up before you put it on the seat if you want to, or you can do just put it on the seat first, like so. I'm not sure it's the right bead, you know. Oh, I see. The top is not as low down as I've got it. There's a gap in between. I'm still not 100% sure that this is the right size bead, but that's what I had left. Okay, and then we'll put some plants in there. Get the lid on. So what we want is we want a little bit of the green dust on it, and we also want this plant in. So I'm just going to cut a piece of this off. This one looks pretty good. And pop that in there. And put a little bit of green around it. Be the bench done. I'm just start with the purple one, which is kind of cool. Okay. these tweezers got glue on? I think they do. I don't know if any of this is going to stick on it. So, like I say, the bead does look quite a bit smaller than that, but there again, the shelf looks different too, so. Alright, that's that. Then we're going to make a window. Now the weird thing with the window was that when I got the parts for it, it looks like the... Hold on. 1 second, guys. It looks like the top here is separate and it's called 2 different piece numbers, but when I look at the part itself, it's all one piece, so I don't know. Or maybe that, oh no, I think it is that. It's just telling me what the actual part number is. And what we're going to do is on the back of here, we're going to put a curtain, which needs to be, gosh, see if I can read it. 3.5 by 1.5. So let's get that ruler out. And basically 3.5. So it's not going to go all the way to the bottom. I don't think it's not meant to. So 3.5 is here. And cut it some way in, and it's like a blue colour. This one's, I've made it 2. Fine, I don't think we use this for anything else whatsoever. We are coming towards the end of this model actually. There's not that much more to do. Because it doesn't have the roof like the last one. That has to be the very unstraight. Okay. Now what we will do is put that on the back of the window. Top here, and just over about halfway. So I have some going down the side there. On the other side. I don't want it on that side. Struggling to get that in. So just like so, and then top it over just so it folds a little bit. Scrunch it up. So something like so. So it's quite free flowing at the bottom. And then we're going to take this one and we're putting this one in flat, so it's closed, and the other one in open, so it looks like the curtain's being blown, basically. It would have been easier to have put that in before the curtain. I love this colour. Quite like purple. Really like the purples. Because I put accidentally glue on that other side, of course. It wants to stick to everything. Probably should have cleaned it off. You just stay away from it there, if you don't mind. And then really wants to join up with that other side. Something like so. And then the other one will be open. So we're going to have it literally flat open like this. So that kind of works, doesn't it? I think what I'm going to do for now though is poke my curtain through, because it really wants to stick to that glue I put down accidentally. Just for now. Okay, and that's kind of what we end up with. Something like so. Doesn't look as free flowing now though, does it? Okay. I'm going to stab that on its end just so it doesn't attach to anything. Moving right along. Let's not stab it against that one then. I'll have to use it. Ooh, just put it. Hold on. Okay, next we are going to make some windows and some curtains, which are over here. So we have 3 plastic pieces going to go on each of the windows. So that's what those were for. Got to be careful because I think I've got B7000 over there. Okay, so I'm going to take some beacon. There it is. A lot of beacon. Very stringy beacon, because in it's a new bottle. Just going to get that on all of it. That's when I put the pot upside down. I forgot it's a new one. I didn't need to do that. On and beacon, of course it will dry clear, so get all 3 of those done. They're a little bit bigger than the wood actually. Okay. Just put the glue, the stain straight on this one. Like so. Do that to all 3. To one side to dry as well. Have a little bit of greaseproof paper at the top there to put things on, and again I put a gluey hand on there. But I doubt that you'll see much of it, so we want it as good as we can get. However, this one, of which we are going to put our curtains in, and then we'll put those windows in. So I'm going to give those a moment to dry, but I'll get these curtains going, and you just want them facing that way. And I'm just going to use a bit of beacon, actually it does just as good. So I'm just going to put some on the edge, on both sides, the top and the edge, and then get rid of that string I have. Oops. And then you want them upside down. And again, kind of put them in there. Squish them along. What's wrong with these people not having curtains long enough to cover the window? It's like that other one, wasn't it? It was not quite long enough. Same with the other side. And then give that a minute to take. And put the windows in. looks like with the phrase at the top and all. Kind of cool though. Right, give me a moment, we'll let the windows take a moment and then we will get those in. Okay, it's had a moment, so what I'm going to do, I did have to switch curtains by the way, so I had them on this edge, they needed to be on that edge so that the bigger one is to this side and the little one's that side. Then what we're going to be doing is putting windows in. I think that's right anyway. And I'm not even so sure. I'm going to do this with wood glue because we don't need it straight away. If I can get some out. This one's, they're all kind of open at varying levels, so it's up to yourself. I left the pin out for 2 seconds, I mean heaven forbid. So on the inside of this one as well. I've obviously got a glob of something in here. Keeps going into the top there. Right, so roll around. Get that seen too, won't I? And wood glue does start to dry quite quick, which is good. It's only about 20 minutes at most really, but this will make it a little bit that we can put things in and it'll stay. And we will start putting all of this together, and I think we'll be able to do that today. So let's take the apron down, and you want plastic probably on the inside. Bearings on. So on various levels of opening. I'm on this way back still. Right, now two different things. I'm going to take some of this and some corrugated, so we're going to get that sorted. I'm going to take this one and stick this wood on here. And I'll give that a minute and then I'll cut that out. Don't need it straight away. So it didn't give you a template at the beginning, so. And you want it with the lines going downwards, so something like so. And then we'll get that cut out after the event. Get that as close to the edge as I can. Glue off my fingernails. Okay, and then with this, we are going to cut it from the pattern side going up, and it has little lines on there, so you just want to go up that far. Thing with those windows in the curtains, just make sure that they're not on that outer edge, because they're going to get squished and they just show on the outside of the model, if you can. It doesn't say to bend them or anything, it just says to cut them. Something like that. My window's coming out of here on this top one. It's because the plastic's a bit big for it, I think. turn the page. Turn the page. Right. Next, what we're going to do is put that to one side. Not yet. What we are going to be doing is a lot of the tracing paper now. So we need these pieces here, and this one as well. We need those 4 pieces, and we need the paper. Not this one yet, but we will be needing it very soon. Just trying to see. So yeah, we'll put this one on as well. So we have some little tracing paper that we're just going to put over there, the windows, and these go all the way down. So let's just start off with one at a time. Let's not get myself too confused. We don't need to be doing that any more than we need to be doing. So I'm just going to get a bit on the outside. That will be this piece. It's like tissue paper. And we'll do that to all of them. Has a pattern. It's a pattern on one side at the bottom there. You see a little cut out, so make sure you get the right side. Hopefully that door didn't have that because I didn't check. I'm assuming it's a door. Oh, I got lucky. It did have it, so just got lucky that I chose the right side. So just look for a little indentation on one side of these. On the right side. Around. And we also have a piece of paper to put on one of them. I can't remember which one. I will look in a second. These are slightly bigger than the windows. I might need to trim them in once they've had a moment. Is there a difference? No difference on this one. We'll go, let's see, does it go on the top? It does not, it goes from here downwards. So the top ones are open. The picture goes inside here. So let's get this one on first and we'll come back to doing that in a moment. So like so. Come back to you. And then this big one, does it have any decoration? No. Just pick your side, and this goes on the top over here. Seeing if there's a difference. I don't think there is. Perfectly symmetrical. Pick it up. Right, anything left? We'll be putting that together in a moment. Anything left is this little picture which goes in here on this side. I do see it needs a little trim, so I'll get that done. Yeah, I got half the curtain stuck to my fingers. They do fray rather, and this literally goes in here. I have forgotten a piece of wood, so I will go and get that in a moment. It just kind of goes towards the top of it with the blue at the bottom. Piece I literally have forgotten. That's rather gluified. Just goes in here. Probably easier to do it from this side so it catches. No, I wish I hadn't quite cut it in so much because I could have done with a bit more on that edge. Put something like so. I'm going to grab those other pieces and I'll give this a moment to do its thing. Because we need it for this piece. So. Alright, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting... You're meant to make this little unit up separately before you put it on, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach it here. Some wood glue, give it a moment, like so. And I think we'll get some B7000 for doing this, and that will attach underneath it. Now I want to do it on the outside, on the inside. Edge. And get some out. Something like so. And the same with the other side. Double checking I'm putting it on the right side. You know me. Always seem to do it wrong, as you saw with the curtains. I've seen it many of my builds actually. I get there in the end. Sometimes it just looks, I don't know, things look a bit the opposite way around than what they are in my head for some reason. Some models I do, I wonder if we're ever going to end up with an end result. I have thrown a few. Had to throw the Viking ship one. Gothenburg, that was a disaster. I just kept breaking and breaking and breaking. That was not a good. And I'm going to put this underneath here, and this part will be done. For now, we'll come back to this in a minute once it's had a... Oh, I did put glue on here. Go and take. Guess we'll put a bit more on. Oh, I used wood glue, didn't I? Of course I did, so it would take a bit longer to dry. But I did move a piece in this process. This one down here. So, and then we'll be putting some stuff on the shelf. Let's put that to one side. Push it over. Right, for this, we're going to take another piece here, and we're going to be putting in this paper, these doors, windows. And this is took me a moment to see what they were even talking about. So, just trimming this. Doesn't need to be hanging over quite so much, like at all, really. Okay, and you want to push these two right to the back of this wall. So, makes me wonder if I should just carry on B7000. It is a lot quicker than wood glue. My preference really is wood glue, to be honest with you, about time and all that. So, I just want a few blobs at the top too, at the bottom. And that will go in there, and like I say, just push it as far back as you can towards the back, like so. And we will do the same with this one, get it trimmed. Paper is definitely bigger than you needed. Could probably have done this instead of using scissors with the blade crafting knife. usually end up using an awful lot of tools for these models, you know. And this one goes right next to it. Might as well have one big piece, mightn't we? And just here and there. And again, push this one all the way to the back. So that we have our door opening here. But this door is going to be an open door. So it actually sits on top of those windows, which is why you need to make sure they're pushed all the way back. And that's going to go halfway in between the two. So I'm just going to put some on the top, halfway, and some on the bottom and the back. And about just over halfway. And that sits on top of them. Okay, we'll give that a moment too, and then we'll come back and put stuff on both of these, and we may call it for today. We'll see how long that takes. We're going to be putting a curtain on the back of this one. Maybe I can get that done actually. Where is the pot? Here it is. It's the pot of all the decoration we need to put in. Some of them I've left on the paper so I didn't get confused as to which ones. So this needs to be 1.8 by 5 centimeters. So it's just over 5 centimeters in length. Other scissors. It's probably about. Oh, now it's just under. Oh dear. And 1.5. 1.8. This one's not going to be quite as long, but they have it lifted up anyway, so. And then what you do, not that it's straight, but you basically cut it in half some of the way up. And that goes on the back of your door here. Like so. And they do have it rolling around, so, and it doesn't reach the bottom of it anyway, just mine doesn't reach the bottom of it even more. Put that on the back here, and that can be sitting doing its thing. And then I'm going to let this all take a little bit and then start decorating it up. It was not the full length of it anyway. Do with the trim here, and I will get the knife to do that, I think. Let me do that. A little bit easier. Probably should have done that to the others, rather than using the old scissors, but there we are, and that's what we're looking like for the moment, and we'll be back in 2 ticks to start decorating it, which is a few seconds for you guys. Okay, so while this is taking, well, actually let's put this little poster, there's a small poster here. Is it even this one? Nope, nope, I don't think it is. I think it's this one. Let's take you away a minute. That one goes on the other one. Okay. So this one is going to go up top here, and this one is going to go on the other side. So let's get those cuts out. So it shouldn't take a moment. Paper everywhere. So all I do when I'm cutting out these tiny things is try and keep them on the bigger piece of paper as long as I can, because that's easier to hold. And yeah, I'll make some pots, as you can see. I've got them ready to go, and that goes on here too. And then this one's done. build the pots to. 1, 2. Yeah, that looks like the right one now. No idea what they say. No clue. And I'm going to put a little bit of this on here. So this one goes towards the top, the pink one, of our grates as such, and then this one goes towards the bottom. Could have done with a bit better cutting, but I think we'll be alright. Something like so. Even though I've got glue, it's not going to touch, so. And I'm sure it says something delightful. They actually do have it up a bit higher. So something like that. Okay. Right, pots. So we have 3 of these. They all have different tops, and they all have different little labels. You're going to have a black label on a black pot. Makes total sense, right? So let's get the labels on. Let's start with the little one, so I don't lose the little sign here, but it is minute. And I can't tell which way the writing goes up, by the way, so I apologise to anyone who can read them if I'm putting them upside down. Maybe I should start being able to read these the writing. I'll start learning a new language at my age. That would be interesting. It would add an extra thing to the videos though, wouldn't it, if I could actually read half of them. And then the black one here has the white label on. Wash my hands too, I'm starting to stick to everything. Which I think is this one. No, that's the black label. And therefore it will be in. No idea. I'm trying to see if I could tell which way the writing goes, but I really can't. Straight. Okay. And a little bit on this one as well. It'd be easier if I actually held the bead. Well, it has the smallest sign at the top, so it goes that way. Okay. And then we'll take some B7000 power beads on. Varying sorts, so the tiny one has the red one on top. I knew there was a red bead somewhere for today. And we get these 2 decorated up and then I call it for today's video. And tomorrow we'll put it all on the wall. And you never know, we might even finish, but I don't think we're finished, but you never know. Or we need to cut this piece of wood out as well. So again, I'm not sure on the writing on this one. The black one has the black top. Because you're then going to really see it, aren't you? Only if I can pick it up. Well, it really doesn't want to be picked up. gold top, smallest sign up top. Easier to just put it on top of it. Okay, and those will go on here. Some of this glue. And what you want is you want this black one in first. So that goes over here. Let's just get some piece of that smaller here. My tweezers need cleaning. These ones I need to get another set out. So something like that. And this one. Not sure what they represent, but I'm sure they're wonderful. Right next to it. Just picture what tweezers you should be fine. Yeah, stuck it straight in the glue actually. Okay, so it looks something like so. Kind of cool. Then what we have is we have two white beads and this big thing here. And they're like little buttons really. They're very small beads. And those are going to go, those two white ones go just in front of each other, behind, one in front of the other. One like that. One like this. And then the other one there. Doesn't want to go flat. Come on. There you go. So something like so. And this bead is on its end against here. A little bit more around the corner. See, this unit's folding where it hasn't taken quite yet. And then we get rid of, or use, not get rid of, that other pot with the beads on top. Goes in this corner over here. And that's this one done and ready to go on the wall. Trying to get it from the best side possible. So it looks something like so. Can't get this to go flat. Maybe from that side. Onto this one. So this one you're going to need your baskets, and you will need the pink one that we cut out. Oh, can't go back to this one. Ooh, 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 ooh. This one also has the label. This one here at the front, so I'll get that on. Cut out and on anyway. Sometimes bigger scissors are easier to cut these little pieces out than the smaller ones, you know. That's what I personally find anyway. There's number 3 on it. I reckon that represents the shop number, maybe. Or does it have... Is it a 3, do you think? I think it's a 3. That said, if you put it on the side, it looks like googly eyes or something. But no, it's not meant to go that way. It's meant to go with it facing this way. Just in the middle at an angle. Not even in the middle, off to one side at an angle. So I put that on. Oops. Something like so. Does look a bit like googly eyes. Now I have a stick over and I can't remember what that's for. I hope I haven't missed something. But it does make me wonder, where was the stick meant to go? I actually don't know. Oh, I see. Okay, we also have a stick we have to deal with, and that's with this little piece of paper at the top here. So we'll deal with that in a moment. So this one is done. Then we'll get this done. This one's not so bad. You just have this to put in, which will go in here. I don't know if it's going to fit inside it or not, or whether it's just sticking on top of it. We'll find out in a moment. Right, there we go. That's what I mean, if you put the hat around the other way, you would never see it, would you? I think it does go on the inside. Okay, so I put the glue in totally the wrong place. Maybe easier to put it on the little shelf. Put some on there, a tiny bit on the sides as well. And I'm not sure it touches the sides. Okay, and we have a picture, this one here, just on here, with the dark side to the bottom, because I also don't know what that says. And 2 more. Oh, I've got a shelf. Oh, no, it's the other one, never mind. Anyway, this one does go on here, on the door. Maybe it's an open-close type sign, somewhere like so. A bit globby. Doesn't look like an open-close sign, but maybe that's what it's meant to be. Something like so. And this one's done, and we go back to this one because I missed 2 labels. This one and this one. Tiny ones, and they hang off that shelf. So I can get this lid on. Don't really need that anymore. And 2 other things to prepare, and we are done. So let me get these cuts. So, very small pieces, aren't they, some of these? And again, I doubt that I can tell which way up they go. I'm just going to go with putting them on. And piece hang on to the edge, and that will be this. This will be this one finished. So something like so. Okay, next let's get this on. I'm just going to use a bit of beacon. Goes on the top. No, I'd pulled the stick for some reason. Just missed where it was meant to go. Is it right on the top? Pull the page back. It is. I think it's probably going to need trimming. Looks like it will. Sticks over the edge, tiny piece. Goes to the top. Don't know if I want to wait for it to dry or just do it. Goodness knows where it went though, but yeah. Flying pieces of wood. Okay, so that will be that. And then all we have to do is cut this out and we'll call it for today, and I can let you know what's coming up tomorrow. Although I have already hinted what we're going to be doing. Okay, I locked this over, so I'm assuming we're going to be using it. And that's that piece, nice and easy. Okay, let's get the lid on that and have a look at what we've done and what we have to come. I have a lot of tools out right now that we can go for cleaning too. Let's just push all this off there a moment. So this is, got my bits out the way. What we have done for today, we have made this, which will be going on the wall. Made this one, made our little whatever it's going to be. Looks like it's going to be a canopy of some sort. We made our window with our curtain that way up. We have made the other window with a curtain down here. We have a very pretty little bench, which I do think is a very pretty bench. And then we made our signpost that I'm not really sure. It should have two sides, so I'm going to keep hold of that piece, assuming that the other part will turn up, and if not, that I can work with it and I can find somewhere to put the piece. So anyway, that is what we've done for today. So we've actually done a reasonable amount, and the good news is these are going to go on the other wall. This plastic needs really sticking here. It's very out. I'll see what I can do on that. Anyway, and that's what we've done for today. So what do we have to come? We are next going to be sorting out the roof covering, basically what's going to go on top of the roof. I'm not sure why we're doing that at that stage, but we do need maybe one of the other parts. I don't know, it's kind of saying that you do, but I haven't seen where it's going to go. So next, these pieces will go on the wall. Certainly this one and this one will go on there, along with this roof here. Will all go on there. A sign we made last time will go on that top of that, and I see they have some green on this roof as well that's going to go on there. I wonder if we should do that. Ooh, could do. Anyway, we'll do that next time, and then we will be putting on another piece on here and also putting lanterns on the top of that, so I might try and stick those before we do it. And then they want rainwater on the windows here, for that to look like rain, and that will be that wall finished. So all of this will go on, and that will be the wall totally finished. And then we will be putting some of the decorations in, like that sewing box, the bench and the bookcase. So we'll be putting all those on, and then we'll put the side wall on. Then we have the roof panels through, the electrics, and we are almost done, just then the side papers. So let's see how far we get tomorrow. We may finish it. I mean, it's not looking like there's a ton left to do, but we'll get that done. So sorry this video ran over again. I seem to be making a habit of that for this build, but Any comments are very much appreciated. I look forward to seeing you again for day 9 of the build. And please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. Appreciate all of you. Most of all, take care of yourselves. Take care, guys. Bye bye.